The world of Star Wars has a light side and a dark side. And every story revolves around the precarious balance that is constantly threatened when the dark side grows too strong.
Feel the power of the dark side.
It is a theme as old as mankind itself, present in mythology, in Bible stories, and in virtually every religion. Where does this dark side come from? How does it manifest itself in our lives? And more importantly, how can our choices determine the outcome of this battle between light and darkness? I asked two people who may be able to tell me more about it.
So this is what a house of a Star Wars fan looks like.
Yeah, well, big Star Wars fan anyway.
As cosplayers, Rian and Jelle regularly transform into dark side characters from Star Wars. But is the dark side also something they experience in their own personal lives?
For me it is, because I usually don't get accepted very easily because of my looks and how I pronounce myself. And a lot of people actually are like, ooh, that's a creep, or she looks scary, or whatever.
The hostility and rejection that Rian sometimes faces from people that won't look beyond appearances is a recurring theme in Star Wars as well. Hostility often begins with fear, but fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering, Yoda explains in one of the movies. And it's only when Luke Skywalker dares to look beyond the mask of Darth Vader to find the good that's there, that's when the dark side starts to crumble and the light returns. Rian experienced something similar when she received a warm welcome by her fellow Star Wars fans.
This one is really special to me because it's my very first troop I did with the Dutch garrison. It's like meeting my family for the first time, so it's really special. It actually made me cry that I could walk with them that day. It really made me cry. It's such a big family and they accept everyone as they are. These people were like, yeah, she's crazy. Come join our club. And that was awesome, so yeah, it meant the world to me.
This is Cabau, the small rural village where my career as a priest began. I was young and full of ambition, and I had a strong sense of calling. In many ways, my vocation and my life choices reminded me of the story of Luke Skywalker. He was called to leave his home planet, to learn the ways of the Force, and to become a Jedi. I too had felt a calling to leave my home behind, to learn the ways of a higher force, to become a priest.
This is where I lived for the first 5 years of my priesthood. I was appointed here in this small, typical Dutch village. A huge change from the cities where I'd lived until that moment.
And Luke became a Jedi when the Jedi Order was almost extinct. There were no other Jedi whose example he could follow. And I too had chosen the priesthood in a time when almost no one followed that path anymore, at least not in my country. The Jedi reminded me of priests and monks. They too don't marry. They find strength in meditation. They are ready to sacrifice their lives to save others. They live a selfless life, and they want to save the universe from the grip of the dark side. As a young priest, those were my ideals too.
The first years in the parish were very overwhelming. I had studied for 10 years, first philosophy, then theology, and all of a sudden I'm here in this parish and everybody's looking at me. It's like, we want you to be our priest, but your predecessor did this, and then we would like you to do this, and this, and this. And the list of requests became longer and longer, and I was full of ideals. I felt that I had to be this good shepherd who never says no, who is always there, who wants to please everyone, who's never tired. But I was, and I was getting more and more frustrated by the fact that I couldn't be the priest that I felt I had to be. And my health started to degrade. I didn't sleep anymore, and one day I realized I can't do this anymore. And I went to see the doctor, and he told me, you have to stop. You're overworked and you need to take rest, and otherwise worse is going to happen. And it resulted in me basically having to stop for half a year. and that was the most difficult time in my life.
In those dark times, when I felt discouraged and alone, Star Wars unexpectedly came back into my life. George Lucas announced that he would be making a new trilogy of Star Wars movies. From my room in the parish house, I started a website about these upcoming movies. It attracted a lot of attention and brought me in touch with thousands of fellow Star Wars fans from all over the world. It was as if my parish suddenly had become a whole lot bigger. I was invited to visit Skywalker Ranch, something most fans only dream about. I felt so thankful for this new Star Wars family that accepted and embraced me. For them, I didn't need to be the perfect priest. I could just be myself. In Star Wars terms, it was that friendship, that force, that brought me back to the light side. Both Rihanna and Jelle have experienced how much that friendship with other Star Wars fans means to them, not only in happy times, but also when you go through darker moments in life.
There's one thing that brings us together and keeps us together, that's Star Wars, but if there's something not only with a costume project, but with you personally, everybody is there to listen, and if they could help, they will help. So it's more kind. They are friends, but it's more kind of a second family, and yeah, that's really nice, especially in difficult times.
Jelle knows firsthand that life can also have a dark and difficult side.
I'm 2 years in a depression, and I got some help for it.
When his mother suffered from serious health issues, Jelle was thankful to be able to fall back on his second family for support.
My mother, she had a stroke, and she's my only parent, so it's good to have some people around that want to listen. Sometimes they can't help you, but only the feeling that they listen and they want to try to help you gives you the idea of that it's okay to feel crap.
The process of transforming himself into a Star Wars bad guy through costumes and makeup helps Jelle regain his strength.
It's kind of you putting on a kind of a shield. Nothing can harm you. When I begin a costume, I look at the character's background, I look at what they do, who they are, and if it connects with me, I'm gonna do it.
Jelle's most challenging outfit must be that of Darth Maul.
He's at his prime of his time, a strong person, but he's also fragile. He's in a form of depression also, but gets help from his mother and his brother, and he gets back on his feet.
He has to shave off all of his hair and sit still for hours on end while Rian paints his face. But it's all worth it to Jelle. In the movie The Last Jedi, we learn that when darkness rises, light grows to meet it. In the midst of his depression, Jelle experienced something extraordinary that lightened up his life.
This was a very special moment in my life. This is me as Darth Maul, and this is the actual actor that played Darth Maul, Ray Park. He's sitting at his table, and I was like, I'm a fan of your work, but he jumped up like he was a fan of me. I don't hope that I end like Darth Maul, but that I get back on my feet and feel strong again and be myself again.
Next time, we will look at role models in Star Wars, like the strong female characters that inspire Puck.
And as a child, I always loved Leia, but now there's Rey, and I absolutely adore her.
May the Force be with you, always.